Hello, everyone, and welcome to Game 16 of the Real Racquetball Show. Maurice, welcome to the show, and thank you for joining.
What's going on, Mike? How's it going, everybody?
We've got a really good show coming up. Mike Wedel, USA Racquetball Executive Director, and I want to let everyone know that Maurice is no longer a special guest. He is now our permanent co-host of the Real Racquetball Show. So, yeah. Maurice, thank you very much, and welcome to the team.
Thank you. Like I said, I do look forward to it. Player from Georgia. I think this is a great concept that we've got, and we're going to keep doing it, hitting hard.
Yeah, fantastic. You add an element to the show that I really enjoy. Your enthusiasm, perspective. The players all respect you and enjoy what you bring. I've had some terrific feedback from people watching the show. So
thank you.
It was a really easy question, and I was glad you answered yes to us.
So, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you. Thank you to everybody who appreciates it.
Yeah. Well, the feedback from the people watching is really what made the biggest decision. They just love your energy and what you bring to the show. So
good. Sweet. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, let's get right into it. We've got some really good topics to go through, and then we're going to close the show up with a really good discussion. We're going to bring Connor on and talk about the festival. We keep solving questions and coming up with new things to happen at the festival. So we're going to keep updating everybody on what all is going on. So let's dive right into some of the questions that people brought to you and were asked in the last show, which was Game 15. One of them was they were asking about financial transparency. So we're going to hit these kind of quick. We don't want to spend a lot of time on these topics. If people want more information about it, they're really welcome to call me, or we can set up a show and specifically talk about some of these items, because there's certainly not anything to hide. All of the financials for USA Racquetball are public on the website as a 501c3 nonprofit. You can access that information, anytime. Now, it takes a little time because they've all got to be audited and such before we publicize them, but the financials for years are on the website. But one of the questions more to do with the pandemic was around the PPP loans. And it's the payroll protection program that the government put out. And USA Racquetball received 2 of those funding PPPs, and both of them were for the same amount. And they're classified as an SBA loan, but they are what's considered a forgivable loan within a specific amount. Companies were able to take more money than would be forgiven. We chose as an organization to only accept as much money as we knew could be completely forgiven. Being forgiven means we don't pay it back. It turns into a grant for us. So those 2 PPP loans that we received, we won't ever have to pay back. So somebody was worried that we were extending ourselves too far with loans. We're really not. We're really being fiscally responsible about this. We know that the situation doesn't warrant our taking out loans and then making payments for the next 20 years. We can't put USA Racquetball in that kind of spot. So those are an easy one. Those were just money to help survive the pandemic to this point.
So then, other than any other PPP loan, is there any other type of SBA loan USA Racquetball has?
We did. We actually, one of the other programs that the government put out, we were able to secure an SBA loan that actually is a loan. We completely have to pay that back. But we took that loan and one other smaller loan, and we put those into a bank account, and then the money's just sitting there for us as an emergency fund. We, at this point, don't have any expectation of ever using that money, and we've started discussing within the finance committee whether or not we just give the money back at this point. It's extremely low interest. One of them has 0 interest for another, I believe for another year. It might be 1%, and then the SBA part of it's 2.25% or something like that. So it's very low interest. It's cheap money to have in the bank to just secure the existence of USA Racquetball in case the pandemic was to take a bad turn or something. And it, like I say, it didn't cost us anything to just put it in the bank, and it just sits there. So it was an easy one.
Okay, so then PPP loans, SBA loan, it's fair. What about So obviously, if someone's concerned about, what's having to pay, or USA Racquetball having to pay it back, is there any type of grants or any type of donations that USA Racquetball has received during this time also?
We did, absolutely. Great question, because I spent most of my time looking for money during this pandemic.
Okay.
A lot of funding dried up, so I took a lot of work and went looking for grants. Found several small grants, like $25,000 range that we did receive. So that's money we don't have to pay back. Most of them were for local Colorado Springs grants. So we really appreciate those. They've been a huge help. And of course, donations. We've really relied heavily on donations, and we appreciate all of the donors, the people that have stepped up and helped keep USA Racquetball going. We've talked many times about some of the generous donors we've had throughout the pandemic, and we just can't thank them enough. We've really has helped keep USA Racquetball functioning, because without a lot of those different funding options, we would have had to cut back even more than we did. We're still down. We're not back to our pre-COVID staffing. We're still short one person going into the festival. And right now, when your normal staff is 4 and you take one person out, that's 25% gone. And we, at this point, we don't have any way to replace that. We can't put that person back in yet. And salaries for the people that are here are still, we took big cuts, and those still aren't back to normal. So we're all looking forward to a prosperous year and at least getting back to the staffing we had pre-COVID. So we're working on it, and it's a work in progress to keep that going.
Okay. Well, Mike, I do have a question. Someone had posed to me. I saw a post about it, and it mentioned the National Masters, and it had said that, one does, and I'm not going to say what the person said. I'm going to phrase it, real racquetball, right? I'm going to ask you a direct question. Does the Masters committee or the people who run that tournament, does USA Racquetball have anything to do with that? Do you all have any say so in where they hold their tournaments, or do they run it and pick it in any way?
Good question. I remember the question popping up last show, and we're not. The NMRA, the National Masters Racquetball Association, and the Women's Senior Masters, all of those are independent organizations. USA Racquetball doesn't control them. They have their own board of directors. They do their own thing. And it just happens that they're both holding tournaments in St. Louis right now. And the NMRA tournament was actually the one that was scheduled last year. And because of the pandemic that we're still in, they postponed it at least once, if not twice already. So it was scheduled in St. Louis over a year ago. And when we were looking for a location for the festival, we had some criteria that most places, again, because we're in a pandemic still, just couldn't offer. We needed a lot of courts. Well, St. Louis offered us 22 courts. We were looking for a festival venue, someplace that's going to have restaurants and bars and places for people to go celebrate and things to go do other than just go play racquetball. St. Louis offered all of those things. I mean, I'm hoping people go catch a baseball game, go to museums, the zoo. I mean, there's all kinds of great things to do in the evening. But where the host hotels are, I think I told you before, that is a really neat location. Without crossing a street, there are 8 restaurants and bars. The 2 main host hotels are right there. You don't cross the street to go to any of them. You walk to Starbucks, don't even have to cross the street. Sports bars, cafes. It's just and St. Louis offers such a unique history part to it that we're really looking to tap into some of that history that St. Louis is going to bring to the table. The city's jumped into place, and they are really doing a lot of work to help us out. So it just made sense for USA Racquetball to go there for this festival. There weren't a lot of options. To be honest, Georgia was one of them, just because they've been playing for a long time. Exactly. You guys hardly shut down at all. You've been playing racquetball for a long time. Pretty much. Personally, I don't know, but I know the clubs there have.
Yeah, at least since May. Since May. Yeah.
But we didn't have 22 courts to our access, and we're hoping to have 600 or 700 people enter this event. Well, it's hard to give those people a lot of matches, especially the juniors, without having a lot of courts. So that was really the reason why the NMRA and the USA Racquetball, two separate entities. Just turns out that St. Louis is a great environment. So
okay. Thank you.
They offer some good stuff. Yeah. One of the other questions that was asked was somebody asked about a college team. You know, how do we get help creating a college team? And that is a really good question. During the pandemic, the challenge is most of the rec centers and most of the universities have been closed. They're not even returning calls about bringing events there. So the students and such that want to start a team, reach out to USA Racquetball, reach out to myself, Renee, Connor, any of us in the office. We will put you in touch with, we've got a collegiate committee and a collegiate council. They have different functions within USA Racquetball, and we will get you connected with the person that will help you set up a team. We've got a lot of work to do in that area. Unfortunately, like I said, we're down a staff member, so we're struggling to get some of those type of things, but we will find a way to get you connected with somebody that will help out and get your team started. I'll tell you something really interesting. A guy I've been playing racquetball with for 15 or 20 years now. Nice guy, very competitive. I love playing with him. He's a banger rather than a touch guy. So he's a lot of fun to play with. But I was playing the other day, and he asked me if I'd ever be interested in speaking with someone with the NAIA. Like, well, absolutely. I've been trying to get a connection or a person. And he says, well, that's who I work in that area, have for many years. I spend my entire day. It's my job is working with them for sports. So later this week, I have a meeting with the NAIA to talk about what possibilities we could have with getting racquetball as a sanctioned event within the NAIA, which would just be the first step in what I'm hoping will be a better relationship with the colleges. So nice. A lot of things working where you just never know. It's all about relationships and people. It's a lot of possibilities.
I've met a lot of people in racquetball, so you're right. I mean, like you're saying, you'll never know who you might run into. Like you said, you've known them for a while, and everything happens for a reason. So I hope that meeting goes well. I do.
And I had no idea that's what this guy did. You know, it's fun. It's one of the things I talk about a lot when I go to the club. Everybody's in shorts and t-shirts. There's executives, everybody you could know, but they're all the same people. They're all in shorts and t-shirt, and you get on a racquetball court and you just bang around. It's a great thing about our sport. It really is. We don't really care. We just want to play some racquetball.
Absolutely. Absolutely true.
All right. The real racquetball champion. We're going to award that in our next show. And we have selected who that individual is going to be. And the award is being made now. So you'll have to tune in April 19th for Game 17 to find out who that person is. I'll give you a hint. They're from the Midwest. And I think it's somebody that everybody that plays racquetball, certainly everybody in the Midwest knows, and is going to be really thrilled to celebrate with this individual. So tell you, tune in. The racquetball champion, as I've said many times, one of my favorite parts about the Real Racquetball Show is the racquetball champion, celebrating the people that do the work in the clubs and really help grow racquetball. So it's going to be fun. So tune in.
Congrats.
Yep. All right, Maurice, let's jump into talking about the festival. We've got so many fun things. It's neat that I spend most of my day either meeting with Connor or somebody that's working on the festival, because we've got all of our energy on that right now. So if we can welcome in Connor, USA Racquetball's Director of National Events. Welcome,
what's up,
Connor.
guys? Hey, how you doing? Good, Maurice, Mike, what's up, man? How you guys doing?
Just talking racquetball, man.
Nothing new.
Yeah, it's true. It's all I ever do. Well, we want to talk a little bit about the 2021 National Championships Festival presented by Penn Racquetball.
Yes,
so,
there's a lot, and I got a ton of questions, and I do think that you and I both talked. It's good to post questions to the public because frequently asked questions tend to be frequently asked. So I'm happy to go through a couple of them if that works.
Wait, I got a question here. Somebody posted a question that I think we have to answer. They want to know, Maurice, how old are you?
20 old. That's how old I am. 20 old. 27. 27.
20 old. You forget who you're on a show with. 20, ain't no 20 old at all, buddy. I'm sorry. Connor throws that at me all the time, and I just no.
Pretty funny.
We're not going there. Okay,
that.
good question though. Okay.
Yeah, no worries.
Go ahead.
I'm happy to pause. Yeah, sure. So the typical standard information, obviously the national singles, doubles, juniors, back-to-back, 3rd through the 6th, 6th through the 9th, 9th through the 12th, technically, well, 9th through the 13th, technically. The change on that, I think, is important to talk about. We kind of announced it at the breaking news, but there was some feedback that juniors on the West Coast and Oregon and some in California and some in Texas, some of those high school juniors won't be able to make these dates work, right? Juniors is typically at the end of the month. Obviously, we're still in a pandemic, so making any sort of dates work was almost impossible. But what we ended up doing is we had booked in, I had negotiated in that last day, that 13th, as overflow already. That was already in the contracts. But the goal was just overflow in case we needed it. Or if anything happens, we get off late and it'll be for move out, whatever it is. So it ended up actually being a pretty nice click to just adjust team qualifying by one day. And the 9th is what we're going to do is add quite a bit of junior divisions. So we're adding quite a few recreational divisions for the juniors to host specifically on the 9th and then 10th, 11th. But the Team USA qualifying matches will start on the 10th. And so we've already heard a little bit of feedback that this is going to help quite a bit of athletes, especially those with finals on that 9th.
Right.
And seems to be actually quite a bit of feedback. The 9th just seems to be a finals day. And there are CT and ACT testings that week and then a little bit after that. So that's the change on the dates. Do you guys have any questions about that? I thought it was a little bit clear, but if I need to rehash it, let's do it.
No, I think that's fantastic. I've had some good feedback myself that's going to help. And we know we would love to be able to accommodate everybody. And it just, in this environment we're in, it's just not possible.
Right.
But we've had a lot of really good feedback that's going to help, and we hope that we can help any way we can to get the team qualifiers to flex their schedule. If we can, write a letter of intent to the school or something that'll help you take your tests earlier or later or something, we're completely willing to do that.
Yeah. So Maurice, since you're more of a player than you are USA Racquetball, does that make sense? Is that explained well enough?
For me, yeah. Obviously from the shows we've been doing, we're hearing that some of the juniors might not be able to make it, it just depends. So having that extra day, I might be able, even when I was in school, right? And so a lot of hard parts for me not to play juniors was because of school. And so if I could go to my teachers and say, hey, can we do it this day? They're like, no, okay, well, I've got an extra day to work with. Maybe I can get my time in. What I did have a question on was, I know on the slide, it said the 9th and then the 10th. So even though qualifiers are starting on 10th, what of the juniors is starting on the 9th?
Yeah, that's a great question. So there's a lot of junior push initiatives that we're trying to activate in the local level, specifically with Dan Whitley on the local level for some St. Louis athletes, and then just nationwide recreational divisions for juniors. So there's going to be quite a few of these. Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, about 20 to 25 divisions of these recreational play that are not team qualifying that we're going to add in on that 9th, and then obviously some of them will finish on the 10th. But this idea of adding in more play for juniors, right? The whole goal is to get the juniors as many matches as possible, to wear them out, right? The goal, they're spending all this money, a lot of matches, right?
Yeah,
absolutely. Okay. And we've added, 25, 30 divisions that haven't typically been in the juniors. The junior qualifying typically is almost all the divisions. There's a couple of the younger ones, but we've all been about the team qualifying. We've kind of split them out now. We've got team qualifying divisions are all the same, but we've added a whole lot of new divisions that will encourage more juniors to come play. We've given some huge discounts to what the normal entry fee would be to give them. They can enter 3 divisions, and it's $99 for all 3 of them. We just wanted to come play a lot of racquetball. It's a great way to get a lot of kids on the court, get them all playing. get them excited about what a championship feels like. Once Maurice, when you started playing, you still play a lot of tournaments. Somewhere along the line, you must have gotten into one and went, wow, this is fantastic. This is what drives me.
Yeah. First one, I was 8 and under multi-bounce.
Oh,
exactly. Silver. I had never played multi-bounce a day in my life, and I didn't get it. But I'd been playing, I think I started at 6. And so it was 2 years of playing, and then I didn't have to play my brother. Like I played my twin, and then I played another friend of mine who I still talk to this day. And it was like, wow, like you get to compete. And then it was the medal factor. It was a states. Like, wow, like I got a medal. And then it was, well, it's silver. I want a gold. And that started to drive to wanting to be better. And my older brother would always beat me. And that just made me want to go beat him. And so it was nice seeing different people at tournaments. To this day, right? I love playing tournaments, but for me, it's seeing everybody that I go. I get to talk to my friends, which is festival. You get to talk to your racquetball family. That's why I love tournaments so much. So for me as a junior, that's what it was for.
That's cool.
It's exactly what we're looking for. We really want to bring all of those juniors to play. We hope they'll travel to come enjoy all of the racquetball and the festival and the festivity as a whole, because you're right. I've said it before. All of my best friends are all racquetball people. I've known them for 25 years. And I didn't start when I was young like you did. I was 26, I think, when I started playing. So, heck, I was old, but according to what you're saying.
20 old. Hey,
I was 20 old. So we've got another question from another viewer asking about the formats for the junior draws, which is a really good question, because that one we really are not going to be able to answer until the draws formulate a little bit. But our intent is they won't all be Olympic format. They don't need to be. A lot of the junior divisions, other than the qualifying, will be either round robin or some type of a pool. We're not going to do them as a draw. We want them to play a lot of matches. As Connery said, we just want to wear them out. They're kids. They got all the energy. We just want them to play a lot of matches. The team qualifying, we really have to wait and see how many entries are in each division. If they've got a lot of entries, if we get 15, 16 entries into a specific draw, we'll probably run that as Olympic format. If there's 5, 6, we'll probably do that as a round robin. So our intent is to make all of them play enough matches that they are truly worn out and loving racquetball. So it's a good question. We can't really decide that yet because we need to know how many people enter them. And I've said before, of all the tournaments I've run in the 20 years I've been running tournaments, this one, you have no way to anticipate how many people are going to enter it.
Yeah, agreed. And that's the problem we're dealing with right now is not only that, but I mean, we can usually predict what we're going to get from singles, doubles, juniors, intercollegiates, and high schools. But this one, since it's a new event and all new events have the same issue, and the budget is more of a shadow budget. Yeah.
So we can ask, and I know I say it's racquetball players, but it isn't. It's all sports that people enter late, and the pandemic causes that even more. They just don't want to enter until they know for sure what's going to happen. Well, it would help out a ton if everybody would enter now, but we understand that's just not going to happen. So enter as soon as you can. As soon as your comfort level is right, get in, enter. It'll help us formulate a lot of the different parts of the tournament.
So speaking of that, most people don't know, you got to ask the question, because of the pandemic, max protocols, do y'all have any more information or y'all want to touch on anything to let some people know?
Yeah, so the COVID precautions are very important to us, obviously, because it's been over a year now of some of the effects that we're looking at for the COVID-19 pandemic. So local regulations, I just don't know yet. I'll do my best to publish information when we get closer, but the projections, and obviously, take this with a grain of salt, because we've been projecting months and months at a time for the last 14 months, and everything changes. So for the most part, the projections we're looking at right now is it looks like you probably will not have to play with a mask on. But if local, state, and federal regulations require that we play with a mask on, of course, we're going to follow those regulations. Otherwise, we run the risk of closing down. And that's horrible. That's horrendous for everybody who comes. We're going to do our absolute best to make sure that the success of the tournament is put at the forefront. But we're also not going to overlay, and I think this is where the additional question comes. We're not going to overlay additional restrictions that are not required by the city, state, or federal regulations.
Okay.
Absolutely. And I know, like in the Kansas City area, I'm not going to speak for St. Louis because I'm not plugged in there, but we've been playing for months now, and we're not required to wear a mask while we're playing. The club does require us to wear one outside, but certainly not while you're playing. So I mean, things would really have to take a weird turn to go backwards far enough that we would have to start wearing masks. So with the vaccines coming out, I really think in the next 4 weeks they'll have a really good idea.
Okay.
Our goal is a month before the event happens to put out a protocol of what the rules are at that point.
Yep.
It just doesn't do any good to speculate now.
No,
it just doesn't, because we don't know. We think that my personal feeling is things are turning better.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to go worse. I think we're on the right turn.
Right. And the argument to that, too, is that we will publish the information. And across the board for the last year, and Mike, you can verify this one, I've been extremely pessimistic about things and how these events are going to happen and how much longer the tournaments are going to run. But I'm fairly optimistic at this point that with the rate of vaccination increases, with the way that some sports tournaments are already happening in cities and the regulations that they're following, with the availability of on-site testing, which we will not be doing if we're not required. So don't add that one there. But some sports that are happening right now are testing their athletes on site. Boxing event, the rest just got done. Can't remember where they were, but they did do on-site testing. But those are the things that with that projection, it does look very good for us in June, that we won't have really a lot of regulations to deal with.
Yeah. So someone asked about allowing people into the building, and we don't, and it's a lot like the other thing. A month from now, we'll know a lot better what will and will not be restrictions. We don't think so, but it just doesn't do me any good to speculate at this point, because I'll tell you, as April 1st came, a lot of the rules changed in Kansas anyway. The mandatory mask rule expired. It's not required in Kansas anymore. It's up to each business. So we think over the next 4 weeks, the more vaccines that go out, we think things will get better. And we really will put all this out, because this is really going to be important information before you show up for the festival.
Yeah, it's very important. And to
we just think it's going to go better rather than worse. I personally do. I don't know. I think the vaccine is going to help it out.
Yeah. Bottom line, we don't know, and we'll produce the information when we do know.
Absolutely. We just don't want to speculate and make requirements now that aren't going to be in effect then, and we don't want to do the opposite. We don't want to make everybody feel like there's going to be nothing when there very well possibly could be. So another kind of in the same vein, one of the questions that was asked, will the festival be canceled? Well, I don't.
Yeah, so I've gotten that one.
The best answer I've got was Amazon's really dependable. Amazon delivers really well. But the crystal ball that I ordered, I've been waiting a year, and I still haven't gotten my crystal ball. So I don't know.
No, nobody knows. But I mean, again, on the same vein, at least what we can do is produce some sort of information, right? And so that information that we have is no, I don't see this cancellation or this event canceled right now. From the 30,000 foot view at St. Louis, there's sports happening before us and after us in the city that are utilizing similar hotel pickup and that are utilizing similar venue rentals. And they're not looking like they're getting canceled. Now, granted, there are some things happening in the country where there are sporting events being canceled. The one in Denver is a very good example of that. But that's why we very much need to slow step it. The success of the tournament means more than anything else. And so is the event going to be canceled? As of right now, I really don't think it's going to. I've been very pessimistic for the most part. I don't think it's going to. But to answer some of the other questions, all of the hotels and stuff like that we already negotiated, all that's refundable. So that to everybody who was planning on coming, for the most part, those fees are refundable.
Yep.
Okay. So we've talked about that, right? So trying to switch. So why not just call it USA Racquetball National Championship Singles and Doubles Juniors? Why call it a festival? Why?
That's a good question, man. That's actually my favorite question. So the festival idea is pretty fun, right? Because with a tournament that only lasts 2 to 3 days or 3 to 4 days, typically you come in, you play, and you're exhausted and you leave, right? It's almost a transactional relationship. But since the tournament is 10 days long, we have the freedom, with as many courts as we were provided, to have the end time set up a little earlier. And we're hoping to put the last matches at 6 o'clock, put the end times at 7 o'clock, and now I have a whole world of ancillary events that I can plan. So a couple of those that we're working on is the biggest benefit and the whole vision for this is that people have something to do at all times when they're in St. Louis, that when they walk in, they feel like they're part of this festival. And when they leave, they feel like, okay, I'm ready to go. But the evening discounts are great. Bars and restaurants, we're already negotiating on that right now. We're doing a show your badge program. So we'll have your athlete badges that'll get you discounts at. We're working on 40 to 50 restaurants right now that you'll have discounts at, not only including the Westport Social, because that's going to be some separate discounts that we're working on. But then on top of that, we're actually going to organize from USA Racquetball that I'm working on ancillary events. And we're going to post that as an ancillary event schedule. So on top of that, the first thing is the kickoff party. So on the 3rd, for those singles, we're going to do a kickoff party at the Westport Social. So first 100 athletes are going to get a free drink. We're going to come in and do absolutely nothing but socialize and have fun. That's it. That's the point, to come in and relax with your friends that you haven't seen in over a year, to come in and play some racquetball after the first day of racquetball, get warmed up and then get ready for that second day and just hang out, get some food and lay back and relax. And on top of that, we have a couple other things going. So we're going to try and do 2 mini concerts for us specifically that we're going to have on site. We've got local bands that we're going to try and pay. Obviously, support the locals, biggest that we can care about. And then Hall of Fame, of course, and the junior championships are going to be spread out. The Hall of Fame right now is set for the 6th, I believe, Mike, and the championships, or the celebration for the juniors, is the 9th, or the 10th, sorry, 12th.
Saturday the 12th. Yeah.
Saturday the 12th. I'm sorry. I got a lot of dates in my head, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, a lot of things going on. One of the cool things we're also going to have, that one of the locals is putting together, is we're going to have 2 tours set up. And within the next few days, you'll find it on the R2 website. You'll be able to go in and sign up for that. And she's doing tours of all of the famous places in St. Louis. And they did this before, and they sold out right away. So this is really going to be kind of a cool thing. Once it's set up and on the website, we'll do some social media around it. And it's a big tour bus. You get a seat on the bus. You get to go see all these really cool places, and it's. I'm excited about, because we've got the bones of the thing put together. The tournament's set up. We know the racquetball part's taken care of. So we're spending a lot of work putting together all of the other festival stuff that makes this a festival rather than just a tournament.
Right.
This Westport Social that Connor talked about. My goodness, that is if you like a sports bar, this is the sports bar of sports bars. It's got bocce ball in it. It's got shuffleboard in it. It's got 2 places upstairs that are karaoke studios. Huge place. I mean, it's got something for everybody to go play. The basketball, shooting, and everybody's going to want to go hang out and socialize with friends. So.
Okay.
And real quick, Bob Frazier asked that question, to do a find a partner on the doubles for the festival. We already turned it on. Yeah,
already turned it on. It should be active now, Bob. As soon as I saw that, I thought for sure we had already done it. I went and checked, and it wasn't, so it is now.
Cool.
See, that's the beauty of R2. I can just change it the moment we're talking.
So Maurice, did that answer your festival question? I kind of outlaid a couple of things we're trying to do. The goal is basically just make you feel like you're a part of something when you land.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're working on tickets to. There's a comedy house. It's all part of the Westport Plaza where the host hotel is. There's a comedy theater there. I'm going to step out on a limb here and say 95% certain we've got free tickets for everybody that comes to the festival.
I try not to say anything that's
to go to
not
the comedy
100%.
house.
Yeah.
Because we don't have the tickets in hand. I'm saying 95%, but I think they're going to give us free tickets for everybody. And something we could go on for an hour talking about this. It's going to be really so much fun. In the plaza part where this whole thing is going to happen is a sports radio talk show. Connor's making deals with the TV stations and the radio stations. We're going to have media all over this thing.
Yeah.
The radio station that's in next to the Comedy House is all glass. You can go stand and watch them. It's like, I don't know, it's a big sports station in St. Louis.
Yeah.
So we're working with them to get them to come do some interviews, and we're going to take some of the team players to go interview with some of these folks and get some. We think we're going to get some airtime in St. Louis. So we're kind of excited about some of these new things we're working on.
So for everybody who, let's like say my friends who can't come, will there be any streaming at the event?
Yeah, there'll be a lot. So we'll be doing our streaming, and we're working on the details right now. But the goal is to have 2 courts streamed at all times, and so that'll always be published. And then we're going to try and work on a platform that's a little bit easier to use. And then depending on what kind of availability we can get at the JCC, so not only people can watch the streaming elsewhere, but we're going to try and have a viewing party for the championships in this nice, beautiful room. Theater. Yeah, at the JCC, it'll be a nice big viewing room. And then I'm working on top of that with a couple bars to try and get streaming set up on some of their TVs just for the whole tournament.
Sports bars are going to stream matches for us. Yep. So the ones that aren't playing can go sit in the sports bar if they're done playing for the day, and go watch racquetball on some of the TVs in the sports bars.
Yeah. But even then, you have the traffic from a regular patron who might not know what racquetball is, and then they could come in and see it. And
beautiful. Yep.
Yeah.
We want all the racquetball people to go in and scream and yell like it's the Final Four in basketball, which I think is going. I think the championship is going on now. I think so.
Okay.
So a lot of great stuff we're working on. So we're really excited about the streaming. Is going to be fun. We're working on setting up a streaming system at Concord, and also we'll have at least a couple. The court streaming at the J, which is going to be the majority of the team qualifying for the adults and juniors will happen at the J. A lot of the other matches will happen at the Veta clubs.
Mm-hmm.
So we're working on it. When you see the website up, and I know that Stuart, working in the background, has posted the website in the chat area. Share that around as much as you can. We're going to have a lot of publicity coming out starting later this week or next week. You're going to get inundated with information happening about the festival. So
yeah,
hotels. Connor, tell him a little bit about the hotels. And he was checking on some numbers today and sent me some information about what the hotels are looking like and how they're booking.
Yeah, agreed. So the hotels, and I know we're a little bit over time right now, so I'll try and speed up. But the hotels are great. The beauty of our hotels is that the negotiated rates that we contracted are locked in. They're concrete. And in there, I made sure that there was an extra clause in each one of them that was a no competition clause. So the hotel can't lower their rates lower than ours, aside from our block. So what that does, though, is that guarantees you the lowest rate at those hotels. Those 4 hotels, the Sheraton Westport Chalet, the Sheraton Westport Tower. It's called the Plaza, but it's the Tower one. You'll see the difference on the 2 host hotels. And then the DoubleTree and La Quinta, I believe, are both the other 2. But those rates are not going to change. So they're not going to go up after a month. What would you say?
They're filling up, though. The numbers you showed me, I was impressed with how many rooms were booked already.
Right. So we've got 244 room nights already booked. So
yeah.
The host hotels are, and that's the only fear. The rates aren't going to change, man, but they might sell out. And if they do sell out, we have a little bit of leeway, in which case you can call group housing or call me specifically, and I can probably adjust a room. But for the most part, the host hotels and those other 2 hotels are all in the Westport Plaza, and that's the epicenter. That's where we want to keep everybody. So, but I think for the most part, for the 2 main ones, the really nice ones, we're looking at $99.
Yeah, which for most tournaments you go to, I mean, if you get something for under $130, you got a good night.
Yep.
So under $100 and these are really nice hotels.
Yeah, they're
beautiful.
beautiful.
Like I said before, they're right in the Westport Plaza. That's where everything's going to happen. It's where all the friends and everybody's going to stay. So and I was surprised at how many people have booked their rooms. And my guess is it's because they understand, or they may know how unique this location is. And I'm telling you, get your rooms there because you want to stay right there. It's close, convenient. You can walk to all the sports bars, the restaurants, a great steakhouse, a sushi house, a sandwich shop, pizza, the taco place, Fuzzy's
Fuzzy's taco.
Fuzzy's there. The Train Wreck is a sports bar that we had dinner at that was really nice. So anyway, we could go on forever, but you're right. We're overtime, and I got a feeling Stuart's going to start sending me texts telling me he's going to give me the hook or something. So, but we could talk about this forever. There's so many exciting things on the horizon. Connor's working hard on putting all these deals together. One of the other things, stay tuned. You're going to see some information coming out about some new partnerships we've signed with. I'm not going to really go through them here, but the next show, we will have some really exciting news about some partnerships we signed up. Some are renewing, some are brand new that I think everybody's going to be excited about. So, everybody stay tuned. We're working on a lot of different fronts right now. May not, from the outside, it may not seem like much, but trust me, we've got a lot of irons going right now. So, guys, as we said, we're 15 minutes past our 30-minute time frame.
Yeah, I apologize. If you guys have any other questions too, go ahead and forward them to me. But otherwise, I appreciate you bringing me on to talk about the festival.
Hey,
thanks.
All the time. We're going to make this a regular until the festival's over, Connor. We're going to keep you going.
Good. All right, I'll see you guys later.
All right, bye, Connor. Great. I've had a ball. Connor's just running with this. He's got his hands in so many different things. And what's really been cool is that his background and the fact that he worked in fencing with large events, he knows all these people all over the place. So he's really working with the city. In St. Louis area, there's several cities he's working with and counties in their sports commissions to negotiate with them to get them to help. I mean, they've got all the leverage in the city to do the things that we just can't do. We just don't have that kind of leverage. So a lot of cool things, a lot of neat things happening.
That to me was exciting. That's what I mean. I don't know. My face, I can't control my facial expression. So it's genuine. Like, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. I think the hotel's filling up is a great indication of people wanting to come out and play. I think that's a pretty positive move in the direction, and hopefully it keeps trending that way. That's pretty cool.
And I completely understand. The pandemic's this stuff's been going on for over a year now.
Yeah. And
it's got everybody gun shy about what's going to happen. And I completely understand. I truly do. That, but I still see, I see things trending up, and I'm an optimist. I believe in the better is going to happen. So I think this is going to happen. We're going to knock this out of the park, and we're going to celebrate with everybody.
Good.
So,
yeah, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
If anybody's made it this far, first of all, please share the broadcast. Please get it out to as many people as possible so they can get this information. Mike, Connor, everybody at USAR Racquetball is working really hard. And so if there's any questions, like I've been saying, send them to Mike. You can send them to Connor. Send them to me because I'll do my best to get them answered. Please share the broadcast.
Maurice, before we go, I got one more question somebody put in the box that I tell you we've spent an enormous amount of time talking about, and they're asking about shuttles and transportation. And we are working really hard on finding a transportation solution. We don't have one yet. Part of it's because of COVID right now. Asking about getting shuttles and putting people in the shuttle buses is really getting a lot of resistance, and not knowing how many people are going to be there. As you can imagine, a shuttle service for 10 days is incredibly expensive. It floored me when we were trying to figure out how to do this. And companies aren't willing to donate those kind of things because of COVID right now. They just don't want to put themselves in a spot. So we're looking at what it would cost to rent, and oh my goodness, we're talking $15,000, $20,000. Well, and not knowing if how many people are going to use it. Because the cost would be the same. If we book the buses and the drivers, it's what it costs. So we're looking at a lot of different options. We're negotiating to see what we could find out from like Uber, Lyft, Z-Ride, those kind of things, if we can do a discount for that so that you only pay for what's used. Or if you do a shuttle bus, if we had 3 shuttle buses, it doesn't matter if they sit empty or if people are driving on them all the time, it's still the same amount of money. And COVID's it's changed that so much that it's just not the same environment. So I'm gonna answer it kind of the same way. And I really hate doing that, but it's all we have at this point. Is we're working on it right now, and we expect to have a solution soon. I'm just not exactly sure what that solution is going to be, because we just can't waste a lot of money on something that we don't know if people are going to be able to use or not. Where if we find a way that you only pay for what's used, well, then that might be a way to go. And we've got to look at this in a completely different way. We can't look at this the same way it's always been done, because that doesn't mean it's the right way. Things have changed. COVID's changed things a lot. So we'll see. But I just want to let everybody know we're working on it. We expect to have an answer. So I want to thank everybody for taking time to watch the show. Hopefully you've learned good information about it.
Thank you. Yes.
We love the questions. Reach out to Maurice, myself. Send an email. We love those questions. We want to answer the questions you're interested in. We just want to talk about things we want to talk about. We want to answer your questions and help you understand what's going on and how we can help you and Racquetball the best. I want to thank everybody for supporting Racquetball, for you supporting USA Racquetball. We got a lot of tournaments coming up. It's been fantastic watching. We got a lot of outdoor events. Get out and play some outdoor. The weather's getting really nice in most areas. And Georgia, you guys have probably been outside playing for months now. We've just started warming up to where we can go outside and play. So get outside and play some outdoor racquetball. There's a lot of outdoor tournaments coming up, a lot of indoor tournaments. But thank you, everyone, for supporting USA Racquetball and racquetball as a whole. Grab somebody, pull them on a court, teach them how to play. It's how we'll grow racquetball.
Share the broadcast, #racquetball.
There you go. Exactly. Maurice, you started when you were 5 or 6. Somebody had to put you on a court and teach you how to play.
True,
Find a kid, teach them how to play. Exactly. Grab somebody and play. Other than that, thank you very much. Maurice, great show. Appreciate your being on. And we will do it again in a couple weeks.
Yes, sir.
So good night, everybody.
Newsletter, everybody. Check your email for the newsletter from USA Racquetball. It is important.
Absolutely.
Information on it. I read it, so you got a ton of information in it.
It does, and we're working to fix some of the people that opted out. We have found some ways around that. We're going to get everybody the newsletter now. Good. So appreciate it. Everybody have a good evening and stay safe and play some racquetball. Good night.